Howdy, howdy, y'all. I'm Kurtis Sunset.
And I'm Leo Halston.
And this is Weathering Rainbows. Howdy, howdy, y'all, and welcome back to Weathering Rainbows. This is our special Christmas edition. So, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
And happy holidays and whatever else you want to celebrate. You know, happy, merry everything, as our Christmas card said.
Yes.
Yes. Before we get into our program, I just want to say a personal thank you to all of our listeners and the people that reached out to me in regards to the devastating tornado that struck Western Kentucky this past week. It was definitely a devastating thing for me to witness, and having known several of the people that were whose lives were taken, and um, it was a really rough week for me. But what was very inspiring is just how many people messaged me to just ask if I was okay. How many people donated and asked how they could help. And it's always amazing to me how Kentuckians come together whenever something that's such a tragic moment like that happens.
And we're also praying for all the families out there and that lost loved ones and lost their homes and everything of their own. Unfortunately, it's a um, unexpected.
For those of you that know, I'm also a lawyer, and we actually lost one of our judges, who was actually the first judge that I ever practiced in front of as a member of the Kentucky bar. And so that was very devastating to me. That was a lot of the reason I was very quiet last week. He leaves behind 3 children and a wife, and it's been very hard for me to even really talk a lot about it yet. My brother was the sheriff of McLean County, and so he was one of the first responders at the Bremen area where the tornado was in its I guess most severe form at that point. And he just talked about some of the traumatic things that happened, and I can't imagine being there. Just hearing about it is difficult for me. So
Wow.
So let's I do want to say some good news that we got, and that is Weathering Rainbows was admitted to be part of Anchor's new video program, which is where people are going to be able to see our videos on Spotify. So directly on Spotify, you'll be able to watch our podcast videos. So if you've been listening on Apple Podcast, now you've got a reason to kind of maybe slide on over to Spotify so that you can see us while we talk.
Put a face with the voice, honey. Yes.
And this is it's a very new program, something that Anchor just launched. I am very excited that we got selected to even be a part of this, because it is a selection process, and they want to know that you're going to produce good quality video and sound. And so I'm just super excited that we were even selected. So that's some big news for us.
Yeah, it's exciting news. So yay. Yay.
Let's get into Snow White and the 7 Drag Queens Holiday Edition.
Yes. Yes, honey. Yes. Snaps.
Yes. Standing ovation times 10, in my opinion.
Tony Lewis he's great at what he do. And once again, Gilda Rabbit, she never disappoints. She played 2 characters and was on point each character, So, but the whole cast was amazing. I'm so proud. So I saw this show when it was the Chicago cast and it was Snow White and the Seven Drag Queens. And Tony's goal was, since he was in Louisville now, he wanted to have a Louisville cast. And I'm very proud of Louisville and the cast and the talents that was in that production on Saturday night. Super amazing. I still get
Yeah.
chills. Like Dusty Ray Bottoms, oh my God. Like as the
Yes.
evil queen,
Yes.
amazing.
I think, and I heard so many people say this after the show, Dusty Ray Bottoms and Gilda Wabbit need like their own independent duo show. Like that was just
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah.
Whenever they were
Well,
playing, the mirror and the and the
yeah.
evil queen, I
It
was
was
just like they were just
it
on
was so
point.
good. Well, I don't want to leak any information, but I sit backstage, so there may be some talks about
hmm
them doing a show together, which would be super amazing.
And they complimented each other
Yeah,
so well during that
yeah,
show. It's
yeah,
just yeah. If you have not gotten a chance to see this show,
yeah.
go see it.
And I and
All honesty, like I did not expect that type of show because I
yeah,
had not seen it in the past,
yeah,
and just how like it
yeah,
incorporated drag, but it incorporated theater in such a way
yes,
that it was just a whole
yeah,
new experience.
yeah.
And so that's what I loved about it.
I'm hoping that he does the Derby version because I've seen both just the regular Snow White and the Seven Drag Queens, and then I've seen the Derby version. So I do, if he does keep doing these holiday versions, I love it. Change it up. He's so quick, you know, with the jokes and the humor in this production. So kudos to Tony Lewis, and he was super excited about his plaque. He was super excited about the interview. So we
Oh
we
yeah,
we're so grateful to have him on the show. So and
definitely.
what a very just talented man. Hopefully he's trying to get me to do one of these productions, but I don't know. Honey, it costs a lot of money for this voice, honey.
Yeah. It's yeah, double time, double pay right there.
I
So
don't I don't I don't sing in my love making Barry White voice for everybody.
ooh. I think that is a great segue into talking about what you and I get to start doing and on Spotify. And
Okay.
that is, we are going to be helping make some very fun new playlist.
Oh.
So we have our playlist out there for those that want to go follow it for all of our upcoming musical guests. So
Mhm.
we take songs from each musical guest and we add it to our Weathering Rainbows creators playlist so that everybody knows where to go find some of the people that we've interviewed.
Yeah.
But something we're going to start doing is creating fun playlists like what songs to play during boom boom time. So
You know what? I am so mad that you call it boom boom time because I read that text and I was like, boom boom time. Wait a minute now, honey. Just come on out with it. Sex, love making, whatever you want to call it. I love,
what
but
songs do you listen to
boom
during
boom
boom
time.
boom
Boom boom time is
time?
kind of boom boom time is cute for you though. It's like I can picture you on a date, like, so you're ready to go boom boom.
That's right. Yep. I can't say the words. That's just
Oh
awkward for me.
God,
Oh,
it's a
I'm s-
podcast. They already know.
I'm still a
I'm
kid
trying
when
to
it comes to
pull
this
out your.
stuff.
I keep telling people I'm trying to pull out your freak flag. So you know me. There's no shame in my game. I'm sorry.
It
And
occurs
I
on
know we
occasion.
got some listeners, so I'm not gonna drop the F word. I'm like, baby,
Right.
let's go F. I'm gonna do it. You know.
Mhm. All right. So, what songs would everybody listen to when they go F? Is that what you, you want me to say? It?
Okay, because listen,
So,
you okay? There for me, I got moods. There's music
Mhm.
when you want to make love. So when you want to make love, it needs to be like making love, and then there's music you want to play when you just want to f. So it needs
Right.
to be raunchy and nasty. So
hmm
and then there's music when you just want to get it over with because it's not right.
The countdown song, that's what we want. Like, we've got to do this
Okay.
in 10 seconds or less. Yeah.
Yeah. What is the shortest song I could put on? Okay, 2 minute Tony Braxton song. Here we go.
Yeah. Just so everybody knows too, whenever I told Leo we were going to start doing this, and I said, "What song do you want to contribute to Boom Boom Time?" She was like, "Who listens to music when they do that?"
Exactly. Okay, exactly. Who listen to music? Because I like natural sounds. I want to hear the bed squeaking. I want to hear moaning and groaning. That's like that's music for me. You want to hear the headboard bumping the wall, your neighbors beating on the wall saying, "Stop it, shut up."
Well, some of us need a little help with the rhythm, I guess, or something. I don't know.
Well, you know, I'm gonna tell you this.
Make things
I'm gonna
more
tell y'all this.
sensual.
Uh I don't like quiet sex. I don't like quiet. If my partner or not or whoever I'm with is silent, it's over. Just get up and go.
Yeah.
I need I need some, encouragement, it just quiet and silent is not for me. I can't do it. And I guess
Yeah.
that's where the music come in, I guess. I don't know.
I think there's different types of people out there for everything. I think when we ask this question, we'll probably end up having to make two lists, like one for those like slow and sensual people, and then others for like just crazy wild music that,
Oh yeah.
whatever.
I
So,
mean, yeah, a lot of Megan Thee Stallion and
mhm,
okay, I'm gonna tell you, like right now, um, the two hookups I've had in the past week, I've just had my TV on with the fireplace playing in the back. so it's so it's very like crackles, fire popping, and
mhm.
it's that. Uh, and
I did learn that she can't wear her Christmas sweater today's episode for some reason. I won't say
we're
why.
not gonna say why. We're gonna keep y'all wondering why I could not wear my Christmas sweater. But I look lovely in this red dress that I have
You
on.
do. You do.
So I was trying to find something very Christmassy, and I was like, yeah. But what I wanted to wear was when I gave you my song that you made me reminisce about. I said, "Oh, this is the outfit I need to have on when this song is
Mhm.
playing."
And
And
then
I think
you, went and recorded something from that very evening, which will, be on our OnlyFans, people, because we cannot publish that anywhere else, okay?
uh uh also I and since we're on the subject of like music and sex, we all let's take a survey on um like I want to know, do people like sex with the light on? Do you like sex with the light off? A candle? I like dark because I like sounds and I don't want to I don't know. I just like dark because I make some ugly faces, and I'm sure the person makes some ugly face. Like I personally, my favorite is to have it dark, maybe with a little night light or something. Because sometimes if it's a hookup, you want to check and make sure everything is right.
See, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, I'm a lights on person because I don't wanna get into anything that I was unprepared for, okay? So, that's
Oh God,
def
I can already see y'all comments on this. Oh my God, it's gonna be crazy.
We are gonna get a little more crazy with as 2022 progresses, and we will
Yeah,
ask some of these questions on our Instagram. So come be a part of that and tell us your answers, and we'll start posting those statistics in each of those episodes.
yeah.
Just something to make things a little more fun around here
Oh yeah.
and make 2022 that much better.
Uh
So,
huh.
what was your song? Did you say what your
It was, Janet Jackson, "Do You Mind?" I forgot what album it was on. I wanna say Velvet Rope. I'm not really sure what album, but it's called "Do You Mind?" And let me tell you something, Janet, if you when she did that in concert, she did like this, she pulled somebody up on stage and tied them up, blindfolded them, and it was like this moving thing. She rode them and stuff, but the song is very sexual, and it talks about how she wanna please him and touch him and kiss
Ooh.
him and it's a deep song.
It is something that I would once I heard it, I'm like, I would never listen to this in front of my mother. I could not play this song.
But okay, so would that song be a love making song to you, or would it be a F song?
See, I think that's more of like the slow, sensual love-making song
Okay.
to me. See, when I think of, like, Boom Boom Time song, like,
Oh my god.
the one that I've, like, been obsessed with is, Megan Trainor's "Let You Be Right." That's just like it's just this nice little groove and, it's like I could just it's a fun makeout song, and then that can lead to other things, so I'm,
Okay.
I'm more of the I like the beats and stuff. I don't like the
Right.
slow sensual.
Okay, so let me
Um,
ask you this. When you doing boom boom and music is playing, do you try to boom boom to the beat?
sometimes, I mean, to like you got to get with the rhythm a little
I
bit.
mean, I guess
I mean, it's the same thing as riding any other type of roller coaster. I mean, you
okay.
just got like, you got to go with the
Okay.
musical flow, right?
Okay.
So,
Well, we gonna see what kind of rhythm you have when we play Just Dance or something.
oh gosh. Well, I've got more rhythm than what people think I do,
Okay. Okay.
but I still I'm definitely no Magic Mike or anything. So,
Okay. Okay. Well,
oh man,
I'm excited to see people suggestions and what songs, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of songs out there. There's so many. I mean, as much as we as much as R. Kelly is a bad person, and that's just my opinion, because of things that he did, but he had some really good boom boom music.
mm-hmm.
R. Kelly
Yep,
had really good boom boom music too. Uh,
yep.
there's just a lot of people, a lot of music out there. Um, I mean, there's a guy. I'm pretty sure the listeners won't know. There's a guy, an artist called Keith Sweat. Like his music
Yes.
was love making music. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
boom boom. Keith Sweat made honey them beats in that song made you just want to like yes, just all night.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, we will definitely we got to create these playlists. So if you have a suggestion, which I'll be posting about it more on our Instagram, but if you have a suggestion, please send it to us so that we can start creating these playlists for everybody out there.
Yes. I need something to listen to at work. Well, maybe not at work because I'll be in the
At
mood. I
work.
will be in the mood.
That's the thing. You'll be getting turned on at work. You don't need to do that.
I know I'll be cruising the bathrooms at the hospital.
Oh, okay. Yep. You're banned from Spotify. We
Oh
just got we lost our sponsorship there. So
God. Well,
oh Lord. Oh, okay. Well,
cut and
let's
paste,
get
cut and paste.
cut and paste. This one's got to be edited out, right? All right. We do want to do our little get to know you questions since it is our Christmas episode.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make mine more Christmassy themed.
I didn't know you was gonna do Christmas. I didn't know we were gonna he at the last minute was like Christmas theme. And I'm like, okay, it's 5 o'clock.
And we record at like 6 o'clock. So she's like, okay, fine, I'll do this. But but yeah, so I mean I'm wearing my little Christmassy sweater for those of you just listening and not seeing. It's a
Yeah.
reindeer with little lights hanging down from the antlers. It said felt festive.
Yeah.
And then the bottom of it says might delete later.
Oh,
So
that's so
yeah.
cute. Also,
Yeah.
you looked amazing. That was Friday night, right? Or
I've been to so many Christmassy parties, so I'm a huge sweater person.
yeah.
And so like
Oh, it was Friday night. Remember, we
mhm.
stayed up very
Oh,
late.
yes, yes. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. That was a very nice invite to get to from, Joe and, Daniel. It's a little
Yeah.
Christmas party.
Yeah.
Yeah, I dressed in that snow cool shirt and had the little
Yeah.
reindeer bow tie, and I had to be, somewhat childish with my
Yeah.
apparel.
Yeah.
So, fun fact about this hat, though, I don't know whose hat this is. So,
Oh, you
it
pulling a
was
stunt.
left
You pulling one of my stunts.
it was left, at this little after thing that we had over at the apartment, and these people just left this hat, and I don't know whose it belongs to. So, if you see it and it's yours, let me know because 'cause I'll get it back to you.
I mean, recently.
Yeah, like this past weekend, it was one of the people's there, so I don't know, we'll see.
Okay.
All right. Well, my question to you, Christmas themed, is going to be if you had a pet reindeer, what would you name it and why?
I'm sorry. If I had a pet reindeer, I would name him. He would definitely have to be Ryan Reynolds.
After a real person, okay.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, because I'm in love with Ryan Reynolds, and yeah, um, it'll be nice to be having a reindeer called Ryan.
Ryan the reindeer. I like it.
Yeah, yeah,
You
Ryan
just want
Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds to be pulling your sleigh, is what you want.
Well, I mean, well, yeah, yeah, that is true. Now I think Ryan Reynolds. Honestly, I'm not really good at pet names. Like I've had several cats, and all of my cats' name were Smokey, which is
Oh,
weird, right?
I wouldn't say that's weird. I mean, that's I used to have a dog named Smokey, so I
Well,
think that's a pretty good
it's
name
just
for a pet.
yeah. I've Smokey have been. I've had about 5 cats since in these 46 years, and each cat have been named Smokey.
So you are to your cats what like Miranda Priestley was to all of her uh, assistants. They're all Emily, all of them.
Yes,
So they're all Smokey.
yes, all Smokies. Yes, yes, and I'm pretty sure the cats hate me. And they've all been like black. One was like a black cat named Smokey. Then I had a white cat named Smokey. Then I had a gray cat named Smokey.
So it has nothing to do with their looks.
Then
It's
I had an
just
orange cat named Smokey. And then the last baby that I've had the longest, he was a Maine Coon and Himalayan mix, so his name was
no.
Smokey.
Ryan Smokey Reynolds is probably what it would be.
You know what? I'm surprised I didn't even say Smokey. My reindeer name would be Smokey.
Yeah.
Let's change that. My reindeer name would be Smokey. What's one of your most cherished memories? And I mean, like I said, it could be Christmassy. It can be first time having sex.
No, I don't cherish that at all. So, that was not a cherished moment for me. It was a
uh,
very painful moment, and it was not a
oh
cherished one. So,
no.
but I would say, I mean, if I'm gonna go Christmassy, one of my most cherished Christmas moments, because we grew up super poor, and
Yeah.
that's like, I grew up in, the middle of nowhere and in a
Mhm.
very poor community.
Mhm.
So like for Christmas, we didn't never really get a lot. Uh, it wasn't like a big festivity type of thing. But I do remember one specific Christmas in which like my parents kind of went above and beyond, and they bought me like because I was a big Shaquille O'Neal fan, so like they got me a jersey,
Yeah.
and I used to be obsessed with like the Rugrats,
Oh.
so like I had like a whole bedding outfit and everything because
Yeah.
and I don't even remember what age I was, but I was obsessed with the Rugrats for a long time as a kid. And so, like, I remember that Christmas really standing out to me because it was like they really went above and beyond to like
Yeah.
show how much they cared. So,
Yeah. And
um,
we appreciate what we get, like, cuz I grew up we grew up very poor too, and my mom at the time I was the only child, and my mom worked her butt off. So I didn't get a lot of presents, like
right.
most of the kids. That one Sometimes there was just one present, like a board game or maybe a pair of jeans or something. And
Yeah.
um I cherish that.
I completely get that, and that's which I think that a lot of times like plays into like our love languages as adults, like because
Yeah.
for us, like if you grew up not having a lot of gifts or something, like I
Yeah.
always want to like go above and beyond, like that's part of
Yes.
my like love language because
Yes.
I didn't have it, so it was like if I do this for other people, like it's my real like
y-
I'm showing love to them.
yes.
Um, so like I don't know, that's just something I've noticed as I've gotten older, and but it's not really about what you get or
Yeah.
the gifts. It's about the
It's the
love and
thought,
and
yeah, the
family
love
and
that put, yeah, it's the thought and that's put
yeah,
into it. And I think I was having a conversation with a girlfriend the other night, and my next journey is foster care, and my
yeah,
girlfriend said, "You're gonna be a great parent because, like, I know I'll be a great parent because I'm gonna make sure." Whomever kid or whatever kid I get, I'm gonna make sure that kid is taken care of. Like to the point, I think I'm gonna spoil. Like I would make sure the kid don't, go through what I went through, because I
yeah,
do that, and I think that's I do that now in relationships, like coming out of a relationship, I want to make sure if I look nice, I want him to look nice, so I'm buying his
yeah.
clothes, to make
Hmm.
sure he match me.
Oh, I get it. And I do think that where we're from, we will make great parents because we will want to do that for our children
Yeah.
and stuff. So, and it's like a lot of my friends keep telling me they're like, if you quit raising your significant others, then you'd have a chance to raise kids. so, so, so
that
maybe that's my issue.
that's our problem. That is our problem, honey.
Well, before we jump into our last segment, which is our heart to heart segment, I do
Yeah.
just want to say that we both know how difficult this time of year can be
Yeah.
for especially LGBTQ plus individuals out there. I've been banned from my own Christmas before, so I know how that feels. We do have several blogs that just kind of help you through this time of year. But remember, like it does get better,
Yeah.
as the Trevor Project says, and you will eventually have a gay family that you spend the holidays with, or at least celebrate those with on occasion. So
Yeah.
stay strong out there. Going into our heart to heart this week.
Yeah.
Um, it's a Christmas episode, but our heart to heart doesn't necessarily have to be Christmassy.
Hmm.
Um, what is on your mind this week?
Of course, the holidays are here. I honestly just said this on the microphone. Like it's for me, it's hard to be away from family on the holidays, and I've
Yeah,
I've I've done it so many years. Like to now, it's numb to me. But it do Thanksgiving I can get through, but Christmas, I have nieces and nephews I haven't met yet. Um, it's during Christmas time, it's just really hard for me because I used to spoil my nieces and nephews, the ones that I have met from my sister. But now my sister's married to this Christian guy, and when she married this guy, I stopped hearing from her, and it drove me away from my nieces and nephews that I used to spend thousands of dollars on for Christmas.
right.
And so I get really, really, really down and depressed because it's like I don't in my head, I don't want to think that she chose him and not me, but she's an adult, make your own decision. But they're from Texas, and I'm sure the guy is like, "Oh, your brother's a," I hate saying the word "a fag," or all this and that. It's just weird that it just hurt that I don't hear from her anymore, and it's just the biggest part is my nieces and nephews.
Right.
Like I said, she don't make a lot of money, and so I used to just spoil them every Christmas.
Yeah.
And now we're going on the second Christmas where I won't buy anything from them for them. And I don't know if am I punishing them for being mad at her?
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. I've got six nieces and nephews. So, for several years, I really didn't have a lot involvement with my family.
Mhm.
But as my nieces and nephews got older, I started realizing like it's not their fault for the situations that their parents put me through.
Yeah.
And that's the truth of the matter is, and a lot of times, my niece and nephews, a lot of them know that I'm gay,
Mhm.
and a lot of them are very accepting. That it's just not something that is talked about a lot, but like
Mhm.
they are all comfortable with it. Some of them actually even helped to get our stuff ready for Pride this year. So
Mhm.
so I think it is important to always like at least try to maintain that relationship with your
Mhm.
nieces and nephews and that younger generation. And I know that's difficult. There's so
Yeah.
many people out there with Christmas a lot of times brings out a lot of family issues,
Mhm.
and
And they're young. They're 7, 5, and I haven't even met the newborns. I know 2 of my nieces and but she have 4 kids now, and I haven't even met the babies, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it's just really hard for me because, like, our family is not a close family at all, so we don't get together and do anything together. So my mom tried to make her own family close, and that's not even working,
Yeah.
so
The more you can have a relationship with your niece and nephews and stuff is always going to be positive for you because
yeah,
you know your heart's in the right place
yeah,
regardless of what their parents think.
yeah.
And thankfully, even though we can hate sometimes the Amazon creator, thankfully we do have Amazon and stuff like that where you can
Yeah,
just send people gifts now, and
yeah,
with gift receipts, and stuff,
yeah.
so they can get what they want if they don't love it.
COVID really did put a damper on things because I used to fly home for Christmas and take them shopping, and I
Hmm.
used to let them go walk to the store and let them pick out what they want. I didn't want to pick it out for them. It's like, I just want to make sure that I'm making the right decision. Like, like I love my nieces and nephews. My sister can, she's a grown woman. She can do what she wants to. But I love my
Hmm.
nieces and nephews, so I just want to make sure that I'm not punishing them by not doing anything for them for Christmas just because I'm mad at her.
I would encourage you to do something, even if it's a card or something, just
Yeah,
to kind of try to keep some type of connection with them because they do get older and they're going to
yeah,
remember these things. And, it's like you said, I don't think it really is their fault. And I think you're
yeah,
going to be shocked when they get older and they are totally supportive and they want to come see you. And, in all reality, my niece and nephews are more family to me than my own brothers at
yeah,
times because of just a change in generational mindset. Thank you for sharing that. And I know there's a lot of people out there dealing with that kind of same thing.
yeah.
Um, yours was much more heart to heart than I feel like mine's going to be. So it's like
I
you
just
went
get
real
it.
deep.
I know because like Christmas, like I say, I can get through Thanksgiving, but Christmas is because Christmas was the only time my family we did get together. So it's really hard for me, like and like then when I became a flight attendant, it was really hard for me because I was most of the time for Christmas I was in Canada or someplace where my phone didn't even work.
Right.
So, but now I'm here. So normally, like last year, I curled up on the couch and turned my phone off and just like slept all day. And I do give I have family here in Louisville, and I get invited places. It's my decision just to mope and soak in my depression on Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes that's the best recovery you could do too. It's
Yeah,
a peaceful time for you.
yeah,
I used to do that on Thanksgiving. That was my big holiday where I just did not do anything and
yeah,
fake sick many a year because I did not want to go places. So I totally understand that, and I think that's perfectly acceptable for people to do. Well, my heart to heart, like I said, is not as Christmassy, but I think for me this week, I had a reflection on the fact that like I have allowed a lot of men to treat me like total shit,
hmm
and and continue to like give them more and more of my time and and just tried to carry on something that wasn't really there.
hmm
I think I've just finally reached the point where I'm just like I am making a commitment to myself that like I'm not allowing guys to treat me like shit in
hmm
2022. So this has been something I've really been dealing with because I'm so used to giving people the benefit of the doubt.
hmm
Like I have guys interested in me. It's not that. It's just the guys that I tend to give the time of day are the kind that don't treat me right, and
hmm
it's difficult. But I have been going on a blocking spree
hmm
this week to eliminate a lot of that toxic, energy from my life.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping it kind of pays off.
You have to stop and be like, okay, what am I doing? I am. You have to know your worth, and you have to
Hmm.
know that I'm better. I deserve better than this. and you do deserve better. The things with you are, you picked the wrong guy, because you do have guys that are interested in you, but I don't think that the guys that are interested in you, you're not you pick the guys that are not interested in you for some reason. I don't know why.
A lot of times, yeah.
You have to say to, yourself, like, what qualities are you looking for in a partner? What are you looking for?
See, I think whenever I start making those kind of checklist boxes, though, it puts me in like a dangerous spot
Yeah,
because, like, I'm a Libra, so like
yeah.
I'm very calculated and organized in almost everything I do. But love has a way of just like throwing a Libra to the wolves. Like we
Mm-hmm.
don't we lose all sense of like logic whenever we fall or start to fall for someone. Um, so I mean, I think for me, it's like I'm looking for
Yeah.
quality guys. I'm looking for someone who I can raise a family with because
Mm-hmm.
I'm hitting that stage where I'm like starting to be ready for that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. I won't call it settling, but I'm ready to find somebody to spend a life with. Somebody who we can both promote each other and
Mm-hmm.
like help each other, reach success. Um, and I think that's very hard to find in gay
Yeah.
world just because it's the grass is always greener on the other
Yeah.
side. There's always going to be another face on Grinder or
Yeah.
something that's more appealing.
There's so many apps out there, and there's always somebody newer or better that people are looking for. Like, I've been content with just being alone.
Hmm.
Like you, I I fall quick. If I'm treated right and I'm getting what I want, I fall for them. But the situation I told you about last week, the guy that I really liked, and then he kept canceling nights that we would hook up, and I
Yeah.
would I would cancel things that with my friends to be with him, and he would cancel. So I finally made a decision and say, okay, this is not happening to me again. So you're blocked. And it was hard
Hmm.
because you seen him,
Oh yeah,
and he
he's a
was
good looking
hot
guy.
and right. So I had to make a decision, like, I won't be treated like this. So he's
Yeah.
blocked, and I feel like he know where I stay. This is my problem. If you're that interested in me, you know where I stay. Even if you can't get through to me, my phone could have got cut off because I didn't pay the bill or something. If you know where I stay and you really want to be with me, then you come knock on my door
Yeah.
and be like,
Yeah.
"What's up?" And then if 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 a I can't curse. I want to curse so bad. If
Oh yeah. Let it have it. Let it have it.
if a motherfucker do that, then I'm gonna be like, yes, you are the one. But, like, we have to start telling ourselves we're we're worth we're worth it.
For like, yes, but and that's I think the biggest thing that it finally made me realize like what was happening is, I was talking to this person who's just super indecisive. Like
Hmm.
anytime that I would invite him somewhere, I'd be like, "Oh, well, I might do that. Let me think about it." And I'm just like, I am so over being someone else's second pick or even
Yeah,
an option in general. Like
yeah,
I'm done being the option uh to what your plans are going to be.
yeah.
So from here on out, that's like I'm very focused on and committed to myself on this.
I'm not gonna hold you to that. You just have to figure out. You have to jot down and figure out what you're looking for and what you expect, and what you want. And like I told you, like, I'm around you sometimes, and I see the guys look at you and make comments, and
What kind of comments? Because that could be bad too.
no, no, no. It's like he's hot, and Curtis. They be saying things. I'm listening, but we also know it's a lustful community too.
Hmm.
So you have to be careful with people that just want to be like, oh, I never had him, so okay, let me have him just to say
Hmm.
I had him.
Yep.
You know,
Well, I think we both have to commit that we are only taking like main character from romance movies into 2022. Both have to have
yeah.
this main character energy headed into 2022. So, um,
Well, I've already started with as of December 22nd, 27th. when my subscription run out on Tinder, I am deleting the app and I'm not renewing because Tinder is my worst enemy. Because I'm talking to a guy, like 5 or 6, 8 guys every day, and I can't keep
Oh my
the fuck up.
goodness.
No, I can't. So as of the 27th, I will no longer be on Tinder. And I'm just going to continue to chat with the guys that I have made friends with on there and see where things go. But like I have to. I'm just so distracted by Tinder. It's ridiculous. Like this morning at work, I spent 3 hours of my work hours on Tinder.
That's a lot. Yeah, you can't do that. That's hard to maintain. Well, I'm going to hold you to that, and you've got to hold me to mine. So you're getting rid of Tinder, and I'm going to not allow guys to treat me like shit this upcoming year. So,
Yeah,
so here we
I
go.
don't even know why you allow. You have so much going for you. Like seriously, so much going for you.
There's not a lot of guys that actually approach me and like that are genuine, that don't just
Yeah,
like want sex. And that's
yeah,
the truth. Like, I think a lot of guys that are in the public eye and stuff like that, like people approach us and it's almost always like, hey, you're hot. It's not,
yeah.
hey, what do you do for a living? Hey, tell me about your life. Like it's always, hey, you're hot. And that's all we get. So
Well,
there you go. Whoever's listening out there that wants to marry me, don't just do that.
well. I think we need other hobbies. I think we got this podcast.
Oh, yeah.
I think we need to go get some kids and foster.
Mhm.
We need our hands. We need to be busy.
We need to make a trip to London, which is how I'm going to
Yes.
segue into our guest for this Christmas episode. I am so excited for this one. He had a number one on Q32, which is the
Hmm.
LGBTQ charts that are picked by the people. And his song Begging went number one on
Mm.
that. He's got a new album called Mood Swings and Roundabouts. And I am talking about Patrick St. James from
Hmm.
London, not London, Kentucky, but London, overseas in England. Okay. So
England,
he is our
yes.
first international guest. And I'm really excited to bring him
International.
to you all and have you hear his music, which just so happens to be we will be able to play his song on this podcast because of our new uh, situation with Spotify. So we're actually
Woo.
allowed to play music for you all. And so I'm going to start it off with his song Begging before we get
Mm.
into this interview. So let's kick it off. Howdy, howdy, y'all. We are back with another episode of Weathering Rainbows, and we have an amazing guest, our first all the way from overseas. Today we have Patrick St. James. You will recognize him from some of his great songs, Begging, that is out right now. And I'm going to let him introduce himself and tell us where he's coming from and a little bit about his music.
Hi, I'm Patrick St. James. I am originally from Derry in Ireland. I'm now based in Manchester in the UK. I'm a singer songwriter. Um, kind of pop, kind of soul, a little bit upbeat, lots of ballads, lots of emotion.
You remind me a lot of like Adele mixed with Years and Years.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about like your background. What was it like coming out and being a part of the LGBTQ community for the first time?
It was tricky. I grew up in Catholic Ireland, so that wasn't very fun. I think other people knew before I did, which wasn't great in terms of me finding myself. I don't feel like I got the freedom to do that as such. It was very much a case of everyone knew but didn't like it, or everyone assumed, let's say, and didn't like it, so therefore didn't like me, and I didn't really get the easiest time. Um, Family life's always been that's always been great. They're very accepting. It's more like going through school. School and college wasn't great. I mean, that said, I'm very happy being gay. It just took me maybe a bit longer than it should have done to get to that place.
What age did you know?
I think I knew when I was like probably around 15, but I didn't come out until I was like 18, 19.
How long have you been singing?
No, this one. I've been writing since I was about, let's say, about 15 as well. Um, but I was not a singer by any stretch of the imagination. I couldn't hold a note. I had a lot of vocalist friends who um, I would get them to sing the tracks that I'd written, and you can only pester people for so long before they start to tell you where to go. So I had to take
Right.
on that job myself.
Well, you managed to land a very well-known producer. So tell us a little bit about that story and how that came to be.
I was recording a lot of demos independently and putting them online, and I was sending them out to studios that I was looking to work with, and one of the demos got picked up by a producer called Joe Cross, who's worked with everyone from Lana Del Rey to
Oh yeah.
Hertz and Cortiners. Um, yeah, so he sends an email, and first of all, I get an email from this guy that's telling me to come to his studio in a very peculiar part of Manchester, and that, like, I've got my guard up. I'm like, something's a bit not right around or about this. So I don't answer straight away,
Right.
and I just kind of like, yeah, of course I'll come to your studio. But
Right.
then I read the email again and clicked the links and seen the people it worked with, and I was like, no, yeah, I will come to your studio. Um, how's tomorrow?
Yeah, definitely for him. Yeah. Working with him, obviously you just released an album. Can you tell us a little bit about your album and the songs on it?
Oh yeah. So in the first lockdown, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. So the EP itself is very much about coming to terms with the diagnosis and also having bipolar with being in a relationship, which is not an easy
Yeah.
that is not an easy thing to do. So yeah, what like begging is like me pleading with my partner to, just hold in there. I'm trying to get better. Then we've got words.
Yeah.
I think words is probably my favorite. Um, that's that's like the realization of, it's going to be okay if we let it be okay.
Right.
I think that was the first time writing that song. Although it was a really awful time that I was going through, it was the first like view or glimpse towards the light in the tunnel. My partner actually co-wrote on that track. He co-wrote the
Oh
the bridge
wow.
section. Yeah,
So is he also a singer songwriter?
he's not at all. This is the first his first dabble in music. I'll be honest with you. I wrote the verses and the chorus, and they were kind of like they were hopelessly optimistic, maybe. So obviously there was the hopelessness there of I'm going through all this stuff and I don't know how I'm feeling. But then the optimism in the chorus where it's like, it will be okay. It's very bipolar in itself, um, which I think reflects what I was going through. And then for the bridge, I couldn't, like, there was a mind block in there. I didn't know what I wanted to say. I felt a bit numb towards it at a certain point, and my boyfriend was like, "Oh, I've got this idea for the bridge," and I'm like, "You've got an idea for the bridge?"
Right.
Okay, Mr. Man, let's hear it. and and it worked. It worked really well. It really annoys me because he's annoyingly good at things that
Right.
he shouldn't be good at. Um, so yeah, he's just like, yeah, okay, I've finished your song for you. Yeah, okay, great. I'm the one that's been studying music for like a decade, but sure, you just pull this bridge out of nowhere.
Hey, you gotta
Thank
use what
you.
works. Yeah.
um, so that worked really well. It's what I think that's my
Yeah.
favorite to perform live as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's
And you also have
definitely a
some
fun track.
more ballad type songs too. I
Um,
know Blue Eyes, and you wrote one in 2019, Psychedelic Love Storm. And
yeah,
I've listened to both of them, and I think your music is wonderful. Definitely gives a lot of those great artist
thank you.
vibes. So, who are your musical inspirations out there?
You named them. Adele in Years and Years is like my top two. I'm also like,
I can definitely tell their influence for sure. So,
yeah, I'll take that. I like that. Um, I'm a big fan of Grace and Chance.
Yeah.
and Lauv. I love what they do with their voices. But like one of my idols is Lord. What she can do with her voice and
Hmm.
what she can do with words and lyrics is just phenomenal. Like she makes you feel things, and she's barely even moving her voice. I'm just like, God, that is something else. Like
Right.
she is the Lord. Um, but yeah, no,
Yeah.
my absolute all time idol, the one that I look up to the most, is definitely Adele. I've been following her career since MySpace. It's really insane to see where she's gone. It's maddening, but like she deserves every single bit of it.
What is obviously she just released an album as well. What's your favorites from that album?
I think "To Be Loved" is my fave on that album. It's just
Yeah.
heartbreaking.
Yeah. My co-host has been like listening to it on repeat for the past month, so it's been
Yeah,
an emotional roller coaster for her for sure.
yeah. I feel like I went through that divorce with her.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, she could definitely bring out those emotions for sure. So you got to perform at a Pride recently. Tell us a little bit about that, as well as how is the LGBTQ community embracing your music?
So yeah, I played Manchester Pride, which is like it's one of the biggest prides in the UK. I was expecting to play like a really small stage, in one of the bars. Ended up playing like the second biggest stage at like a
Wow.
really insane slot. Just as the sun was going down in the middle of August, like at the end of August, sorry, like it was gorgeous. Outdoor stage, sun going down, just playing to like 2,500 people. It was
Right.
there's no words for it. I don't think that's still sunken in. I still watch videos from it, and I'm like, that's me. It's just
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's definitely been a highlight.
Were you incredibly nervous or?
Yes, and I feel yeah, I was definitely nervous. But it was also like the quickest I've calmed down on stage. I do find that
Yeah.
you know the the bigger the crowd, the less nervous I am, which most people are the
Yeah.
opposite. But I think because of when a crowd's bigger, you can't really see faces. Um,
That's true.
so it's less daunting than having like 50 people in front of you.
Have you started your tour yet? I know you were doing about 4 cities over there soon.
Yeah, that kicks off in March as long as nothing else happens with lockdowns. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, really looking forward to that. It was supposed to happen a little while ago, but obviously with everything that went on in the world. But luckily, we hadn't announced it yet, so I didn't have to cancel it. um,
Right.
but yeah, so that kicks off in March next year. I'm really looking forward to that actually.
Your song "Begging" has hit #1 on several LGBTQ charts.
Yeah, that's kind of overwhelming in a way, but in a good way. When I found out I went number one, like because it's a voted for chart, so people were going out of their way
Mhm.
daily to vote for me to move up the charts. And like I was aware that it was moving up the charts, but it's like when I hit number one and I was told that I was number one, like that feeling was insane. Really, it was yeah.
Yeah.
And then not only to hit number one, they kept me there as well for a few weeks, which was
Q32. I mean, that's a very well known LGBTQ chart list, and it is voted on by fans. Which, so I mean, to be #1, that means a lot of people went out of their way to get you up there. So
yeah.
clearly, your songs are resonating with the audience. Obviously, a lot of times we see LGBTQ artists venture out into uh, more wild fashion choices. You've got Lady Gaga and Little Nas X and the Met Gala and stuff like that, where they have some pretty wild outfits. Is this anything we are going to see from you?
I mean, I hope so. If someone wants to make me a meat dress, I'll happily slay that on stage when I'm on tour. um, but yeah, like it's something that I feel as though I may not be quite confident enough to do just yet. But it's something that I would absolutely do, if I had the right team of people around me that I trusted when they say that you look good in this. As long as I felt comfortable, I'd wear anything as long as I'm comfortable.
That's great.
But yeah.
Well, we all look forward to the future choices in your fashion. So, um, Let's go into our do's and don'ts segment real quick. Our do's and don'ts segment is basically you get to pick a topic to kind of give LGBTQ rural kids some advice. It can be on literally anything. So, what do's and don'ts of advice would you have for them?
I think I'll keep it music related for any
Yeah.
LGBTQ musicians out there. Do be supportive of other queer artists, and just don't be rude. There's so many people I've come across over the past couple of years that have too much to say about certain things. No one needs that. No one needs the shade. We deal with enough of that from people outside of the community without having to deal with it internally as well. Yeah, just keep any internalized homophobia to yourself.
Tell us your most like comedic story from your LGBTQ experience so far.
Oh God. Um, there's so many. I'm not sure I could say any of them. um, how PG is this show?
We are explicit, so you can say whatever you want.
My mom's gonna listen to this. I think
Uh
I'll play it
oh.
safe. I'll tell you the psychedelic love storm story. Um, oh, he's gonna hear this. Oh, that's cringe. Um, I used to live with a guy, a straight guy, that I had a bit of a crush on at the time. Oh God, and and he moved out, and at the end of one of our years of studying, and then the following year, we were still friendly, but like not living together. And then he did that typical straight friend thing that they do, and used me as a little bit of a guinea pig. Hence, what
Oh.
psychedelic love storm is all about. I've been waiting all night just for this, that kind of vibe. Yeah, talking about like waiting a lifetime and whatever. I think he was very aware of how I felt and very much played on that. But like to me, that is just one of the most embarrassing situations I've ever allowed myself to get in. Even though like no one knows
Right.
about it, it's something that like gives me severe anxiety that I allowed that to happen.
Yeah, you got to dealing with straight guys. That's always a heap of trouble whenever you start developing
Why
feelings
are they
and
so
different things
attractive
like
though?
that. Right. Yeah, I totally get it. I think I always like to tell the story. That's one of the main reasons I came out was fell in love with a straight boy, and finally was like, I've just got to tell them, I've got to figure out if they're gay or not. And it was in the middle of a snowstorm. And so, like, I'm, intoxicated, and I run outside in the middle of a snowstorm to like go to this boy's house to tell him, So
Oh
definitely
no.
straight boys will get you in a heap of trouble.
That's some serious main character syndrome there though. Like that's a
Right.
movie.
Right. So, obviously, you are in a relationship now.
Yes.
Hopefully, not with a straight boy, right?
Not last time I checked anyway.
Right. So, how is that? Obviously, most of your LGBTQ artists, they either will hide their relationship or be very private about their relationship. It seems like you have allowed it to come public on your Instagram and different things. So, what is that like actually having a significant other and being a musical artist?
Do you know I've never been asked this before. It's actually a really good question. I think before I got into the relationship, I had always been of the mindset where my career will be separate to my private life, very much like what Adele
Mm,
did. Um,
right.
but I think because like we got into a relationship not long before like lockdown and stuff happened. I just think there's so much negativity in the world that like and then especially like besides COVID, especially within the queer community, there's so much negativity that we face on a daily basis that like my relationship is one of the main sources of happiness in my life. So I don't see why I should hide that from anyone. I think I should share that more than anything. Especially like I think growing up, if it had been shown to me that it wasn't all the doom and gloom that you see on TV and movies, and it wasn't the heartache and the constant chasing straight guys, that there is actual happiness out there, that I would have felt a lot more
Right.
secure coming out and dealing with my sexuality. So yeah, I mean, I don't get me wrong. I'm not holding him in the spotlight. I'm not like dragging him on stage with me, but I'm not going to hide him either.
Right.
So
How
yeah.
does he feel about the limelight that you're getting currently?
Yeah, he's very proud. It's it's tricky. It's a tricky one though when you're dating a songwriter. I say that like I've ever dated one, but it can't be easy because if I was dating a songwriter and they were writing about the things that we go through, I'm not sure I would be particularly comfortable with it. But he handles it like a champ. So
Does and hopefully there's never a breakup album. That's what I'm going to hope for you all.
I hope not. Although I did tell him when we got together that he'll probably have to break up with me so I can write the album and then we can get back together.
Yeah, do like a 1 month stint, and then get back together. Don't
Yeah.
don't uh don't do a Taylor Swift or a Adele where it's like a permanent thing. So
Yeah, do more like Pink, really. She's constantly breaking up with her husband and writing about it and then getting back together.
exactly. Yeah, that's one of my personal faves. So
Oh, I
yeah,
love her
definitely
so
do it.
much.
Do more Pink style on that. Are you ever planning on coming overseas and singing
Absolutely.
for the U.S.?
Absolutely. That's definitely something that's in the works. It's one of those things that's really tricky at the minute. Like no one knows what we can and can't do. That's why like even booking the
Right,
the tour within the UK, as much as we're pushing ahead as though it's gonna 100% happen, you can't help but doubt that something may come up and change that. So that's why for this time round we're keeping the tour quite small and very close to home. Um, just to minimize disappointment and cancellations. But yeah, absolutely. As
yeah.
soon as I can, I'll be there. I've never been to the States. I'm really excited to come over.
What has been your strangest experience with a fan so far?
Oh, I talk about mental health a lot when I'm playing shows. And I've had like people come up to me after I come off stage and full on cry in my face because I've spoken so openly about my story. I wouldn't say it's strange as such that that happened. I think it's strange to me that it happened to me, if that makes sense. So I don't
Yeah,
think it's strange that people are crying because someone's talking about mental health and they're feeling um like they've got someone that reflects them talking openly. But because it's me, I think that's what I find strange about it. But yeah, like there's been a
right,
few times that people come up to me after I come off stage and they're just crying, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm a singer,
right.
and I
Yeah.
don't know how to fix this.
So how do you manage? Obviously, you got diagnosed with bipolar disorder. It can be incredibly daunting, just because of the way that it can affect your chemical imbalances and stuff like that. And how do you currently deal with that as an artist?
um, One day at a time. It's been a horrendous 2 years since, like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's coming up to 2 years. This month I believe it's 2 years since my diagnosis, and it's just been a roller coaster. So yeah, like I've very much got into the mindset of it's one day at a time. The more I try and handle it once, the harder it is, and the more likely I'm going to be unstable. Um, so yeah, stability comes with taking it easy and just not putting too much pressure on myself, and medication.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely. I mean, I think one thing people really ought to know is, a lot of your artists out there are struggling with various mental health issues or personality disorders. A lot of times is what drives them to be so great. Especially like if you're bipolar, some of even the more manic episodes that leads to amazing, work and stuff like that. So I think it's important to also know, rural kids out there, like your mental health, even though it is difficult to deal with, is something that can actually, inspire you, such as it did Patrick on his latest album, Mood Swings and Roundabouts. Um, and the reason I say that is I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, and I think for me, what helped was knowing it and getting that diagnosis. Like you then can start like addressing some of those symptoms and things like that. So do you think it's helped since knowing your diagnosis?
Um, yeah, it's because now I know what I'm dealing with. whereas in the past, I I thought that I always felt like something was wrong, but that it was my fault that I was certain ways, or maybe
Mhm.
like I didn't know how to handle certain things. But now that there's a name to what's happening, yeah, it's absolutely it's easier to handle. Doesn't make it um any nicer to live with, but at least I know it's not me. It's something that I've got
Right.
that's causing that. So yeah, it's been, I think it's the validation of hearing the 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 name of it in the diagnosis. Like that was the first time
Yeah.
I felt normal, I suppose.
Right. It gives you definitely that sense of relief that
Yeah,
kind of comes over you. It's like, okay, it's not just me. There is something that is kind of causing this, and you can kind of get help that way now that you know what it is. So thank you for talking about that. Mental health is such a huge issue for our viewers and listeners, and it's always nice whenever somebody's willing to be vulnerable with that. Um, so let's go to the LGBTQ community. What are the things that you've really enjoyed about the LGBTQ community, and what things would you like to see changed?
so enjoyed the men, obviously.
Don't
um
we all? Right? Yeah.
um I've enjoyed the sense of community. It's especially since moving to Manchester, because Manchester's such a gay friendly city. It was surreal to me. I think what before I moved here, even within like the first couple of years of living here, until I got into the relationship with my boyfriend, I had um a lot of like internalized homophobia that I didn't know I had, and I was projecting that. It's not something that I'm proud of at all. But yeah, like
Right.
um I was avoiding like the idea of being gay. I was avoiding anyone that was within the community. I was avoiding gay bars, all of it. I was not on the scene at all. And I was surrounding myself with straight females. Um,
Right.
so yeah, I was really struggling with that. So, but like since coming to Manchester, and especially with my current partner, um, he's taught me a lot about myself, and helped me get past a lot of the internalized homophobia, which I know was caused by what I went through at school. Like I'm hyper aware of that. I know that that's what it is. It's if you hear something enough times, your brain starts to believe it. So I started hearing that, it was unnatural, and I was people hated me, so I started hating myself. Um, so
Right.
that's what I was dealing with when I moved here. But yeah, getting past that, and very much loving the sense of community, and that everyone tends to have, for the majority, everyone tends to have each other's back, and it's just like fun times, and more often than not, like drama free, um, as opposed to,
With the right groups, yeah.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But that said, you get dicks everywhere,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
everywhere.
Going off of that, obviously, you did grow up in a Catholic environment, and you had these kind of preconceived notions of the LGBTQ community. It seems like your current relationship really helped you out there. But are there still things that you would like to see changed? Have you had any bad experiences with LGBTQ, like bars and community members and stuff like that?
Oh yeah. One of the things that really gets me, like, it's really upsetting to see, is community members that are transphobic, and so blatantly
Hmm.
transphobic. Like, I may not be personally affected by that, but that's members of our community. Like, I'm not going to sit and watch that
Right.
happen. And as far as I'm concerned, if you can't accept us all, then you're not one of us. Um,
Definitely.
because we're more than just a bunch of gay men, and it's about time the community realized that. There's so much
Yeah.
more to us than that. We're a rainbow.
Right. Yeah. And that's definitely true. And I do think we see that a lot. It's kind of one of our, I would say, one of our final frontiers in the LGBTQ community is just that trans acceptance. I think there's still a
Yeah,
lot of beliefs out there that really struggle with the idea that gender may not always be as assigned at birth.
yeah,
So um, I definitely appreciate you bringing that up on this show because something we preach on too. So,
Yeah, it's like, especially
um,
when people like, I know a few people that deliberately misuse pronouns, and
right,
that's not right. Like, you can't be doing that. If you're aware of it, it's not hard to use the word they. We do it daily. Just use it.
right. Obviously, you grew up in a pretty rural area before kind of going into the cities that you're in now. What would you tell other LGBTQ kids that are growing up in situations like what you grew up, and just give them some general advice on growing up there?
It gets better. Um, I know, I know. Even like from where I grew up, um, people that are growing up gay there now have it relatively easier than it was when I was growing up. Um, in the same way, I had it easier than the people that came before me. It was still horrendous, but it was easier than they had it. Um, things are getting better, but slowly. Um, use your voice, be heard, stand up for yourself, and don't take any shit. Oh, and be you always.
That is perfect advice. So we will go into our last segment, which is called our pot of gold question. It's an opportunity for you to ask me one question of anything of your choosing, and I will follow up with one final question to end the interview.
Okay. I want to word this right so I don't sound really dumb. Um, okay, so whether it's been from dealing with self acceptance or homophobia or come to terms of like queer culture, do you feel your sexuality has impacted your mental health in any way?
That's a very great question. I absolutely think that dealing with my sexuality was a major player in developing borderline personality disorder. Um, with borderline personality disorder, you deal with things like abandonment. There's a lot of abandonment issues that come along with that. And whenever I came out, I was abandoned. I was abandoned by most of my family members.
Oh.
Um, Thankfully, most of my friends were always there, but most of my family kind of abandoned me due to being super missionary Baptist background. So obviously that contributed to it. Made me a lot more impulsive, which is can be very dangerous in the LGBTQ community. Um, it also causes things like a lot of suicidal ideation and stuff. So dealing with a lot of those kind of issues kind of played hand in hand with me being gay. Gay relationships a lot of times are very difficult. People ghost all the time. People, which I don't know how many relationships you've been in or your dating
Too
experience
many.
before your current boyfriend. so, so that it can be a wild ride. And so dealing with my mental health in terms of my borderline personality disorder could be very difficult when relationships would end. Um, but knowing it has helped me. Knowing that this exists and that it's not just me, I'm able to recognize it and kind of cure those red flags along the way. So, yeah, great question.
Oh, you should be really proud of that. I'm sorry that you had to go through the things that you went through, but you should be really proud of yourself for the way that you've handled it.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, and and I know you can relate. Going
Yeah.
through any sort of disorder is it's a rough time, but I think it really does. It makes us tremendously stronger as individuals. And so many LGBTQ people out there are dealing with the exact same things that you and I have gone through. Going off of that, my question is going to be super different than a serious one. I've asked you a lot of serious questions today. We are coming up on Christmas. What is your favorite Christmas song, and when are we going to get either a Christmas album or a cover of some sort of this song?
Actually, this is a good question. I've been working on this. I think it's a toss up between "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas" and "Fairy Tale of New York." Um,
Yeah.
I love both, but I think the one that I would quicker sing would be "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas." The Christmas album, you might get that when I'm in my 30s. I just feel like that's a very 30s thing to do. Do you know what I mean? I'm not quite there yet. Yeah, but you may get a cover of "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas" very soon. Maybe this
That would
holiday
be great.
season.
There we go. All right. Just to let everybody know again, you can go on Spotify and check out Patrick St. James. You can check out he's got an Instagram, and I'm sure he's got tons of other social media that we will list in our podcast description. But his recent album, Mood Swings and Roundabouts, is out, and you should definitely go take a listen. He's got a great career ahead of him. He's already been #1 on LGBTQ charts, and we will, I'm sure, see him in the future on, billboards and all that kind of stuff too. So, thank you so much, Patrick, for being on the show. We really do appreciate all the time you spent and things that you've shared with our audience.
Thank you for having me. I was very nervous, but you put me at ease. I think I was more nervous about the idea of talking about growing up gay than I was about anything else, because don't really talk about that very much. It's always about the music, so I was like, oh. But no, thank you. You put me at ease.
The vulnerability is always difficult, even for people that sing in front of 2.5 million people like you. So, but thank you again, and we will be releasing this close to Christmas. Well, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Don't forget to come on back now. I know we all love a little vibration, so if you are not already, go ahead and subscribe to this podcast. And we will surprise you on occasion with a new release vibration in your pocket. But in the meantime, if you find yourself alone or crossing new horizons along the rainbow trail, and you need a friend or even a laugh to get you through those dark and stormy nights, holler on out to us at www.weatheringrainbows.com, where you can find shelter in the blogs, videos, and other episodes that will hopefully keep you out of a whole heap of trouble. So until next time, y'all, giddy up, be true to yourself, and make the best of life. And wherever the wild tracks may lead you, may the rainbow always touch your shoulder.